Hello, my name is Ellouise Schoettler. I'm your storyteller here, and I'm going to take my mask off before I start telling you anything. Uh, I wear this as sort of my public attempt to help people remember to always wear your mask. It's our safety thing. I believe in it and have gotten to the. How do you like my new mask? My daughter sent it to me from California, and there was a box, and there were all three. The difference in this, it's still a little papery, and it is, but it's three pieces, and it's not a forever. Wear it for maybe once or twice, and then you have to cast them off. But they're very comfortable, and it was fun to have something new to wear. Well, I'm here with the story today. I told you that. I'm going to try to come up with it. I had something happen in my house about 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was going to make a change in my life. No, I'm not moving. No, I didn't order any trucks to come to take my old stuff away, as my family keeps saying. When are you going to get rid of it? No, I didn't do that. I thought about how much I missed my car. I did. I miss my car. I love my car. And I had been told to stay in the house. That was what my job was. My daughter and I live here. We both have offices here in the same house. And my job was to be good and keep out of things so that I don't get sick. Now, I was willing on that. It felt very good, and I'm happy in my house. And so, what was the difference? Until it began to get to be such a long time. First, you know how it was. The pandemic was being explained, things were coming. It was a terrible, terrible, scary time. And they were always talking about the vaccines, that they would get the vaccines and we would have them, and that would be something that would help us, it would cure it. So I stayed in my house waiting for my chance to have the vaccine. And my car, I just left it parked down the street. I live in a neighborhood where there's small streets and you can just leave your car there. And my daughter drove us most of the time in her car. And I was getting lonely for my car. You want to know why? My car was a little office to me. It was a personal place, a quiet place. I could listen to the radio as long as I wanted to. I could talk to people on the phone and have my mysterious conversations there where nobody wanted to know what I was talking about, and that was comfortable. It was wonderful. Um, Privacy is a good thing in your life. There's no real need for it, of course, but it feels good, doesn't it? So anyway, I checked my car. This was about 3 weeks ago. And I said, I'm going out there to look at the car for my daughter. She said, well, you're not driving that car, Mom. We're driving my car. And I said, but I want to drive my car. I'm ready to go back on the streets. I have finished my vaccines. I have done all of those two shots, and I'm ready to try out in my car again. Well, you can't do it, she tells me, until I have finished mine because we live here together. And in another 2 weeks, I'll have my last final shot. Okay, I'll go along with that. That seems to be the strongest, best way to do it. And so I waited and I waited. I did. And about a week ago, she had her last shot. She didn't feel bad. She felt good. You take all of that worry off of your back when you've got the second of your vaccine in and you're protected, as they say, you're protected. And I started thinking, she's protected, I'm protected, I can get in the car. Now, what was about that I had to worry about? You're probably asking. did I really remember all the tricks of driving my car? It's not a great car, but it's a smart car. So you have to go back and you don't have a key to start it. You push on a button. You have to be sure about that. You have all these things to check out on to be sure that when I bought it, they had taught me how to use my car. So I had to reteach me that went on. One morning I got up and I went out into the driveway and I usually have my key, a fob around my neck, so I'll know where it is. It's hanging on on a nail in the kitchen. And I got it and I went out and it wasn't working. The stupid little key was not working. It wouldn't open the doors, it wouldn't do anything. And so I came back in the house and I showed it to my daughter and I said, "Now, what the heck is this?" And she said, "I bet the battery's dead, Mom." Well, what do you do with a battery that's dead? Because you could pull out and there's a key that comes out of it that you could put in the door, but that's not working either. Nothing with that fob was working. So Karen took it up to the gas station on Connecticut Avenue and they fixed it. The battery was dead. And so they fixed it and everything. Few pennies to get it done. And she came back joyous. She succeeded. Here it is, it's working. And I said, "Well, what do we have to do now?" "Nothing." And she said, "I think the battery is dead and we'll have to have somebody come out here and start the battery." All right, I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that. We don't usually plug in our own starters here. And so my husband used to do that, but he's not here now, so he's not doing it. And it's better in that situation to have somebody who knows what they're doing to come in. And they started the car. Oh, it started up. And he said, "Now you'll have to drive it for 40 minutes." And Karen said, "I've got a couple of errands and I will do that." So she was gone for over 40 minutes. And when she came back and she said, "It's warm and it's running just fine." And I think now, tomorrow you can go. Thought about it for a long time. Where was I going to go if I went to go? So I got in the car. Now I'm a cautious person. So when I got in my car, I decided to test things first. So I tried out all the little starts and stops. But first, I got my XM radio on, 50s on 5, and I listened to all the 50s music that I love, turned it on, left it on, and I decided for the first little while that I would be in my office. And I'd always used the car as my office, place where I could think, plan, do anything, and listen to my radio. So I did that and I went back in the house and I had decided that I wanted to drive, but I really did want her to be with me, my daughter to be with me. So if I began to make any kind of serious mistakes, that she'd be there to help me. And she agreed and she came and we started out. Listen, have you really looked at your whole neighborhood for a long time and you see around you that it's changing for other people too, that there are more people out in the street with their children, grandchildren, regular children, walking their dogs? I mean, in my neighborhood, dogs have kept people in the street and everybody looks happy when they're out there with their dog. Well, not if the weather's too bad, but you know what I mean. They're out there. So I started out and I was very careful and I was going slow. I didn't want to hit anybody or any cars. And so I was very slow going out and I went out to the way I'll just turn and I'll go toward the the school over there. I know that trick. And first, I had to go across the creek in Rock Creek Park. And as you came through there, the one thing that I was a little sad of was a lot of the cars, a lot of the trees had fallen down. That's sad to me. But anyway, I went on. The yards had been well taken care of, they looked good. But the thing that was the most striking was bud trees were blooming all up and down this street. You know, they come into sort of a lavender or edgy purple color, and they're just beautiful. And mixed in with them were some white dogwood trees. It was trying to be spring, even when our weather has got itself confused between cool and cold and hot. But the trees were hanging in there. Oh, I felt good. I went on up. I passed the big post office. I saw where Johnson's florist was, pointing it out. And Karen kept saying, Mom, just keep your eyes on the road. I said, well, I want to see all of this. I passed the train station. We have a little train station over here for a much bigger train. And I was sorry that the train didn't come through while I was riding through. I love the train. And I rode around it. There've been 2 murals put up on the wall. I'll go back and take some photographs. I'd get those, I'll put them up for you. And then I circled around. I passed by the place where we usually film this thing that comes to you today out of my living room. But we've been doing the outside stuff, you know, the things that are the safer, the things that are better. And we've been going back home to to film the program. So I ran there and then I get through the station in Safeway, just not to shop, just to check how things were going. And then coming back home, driving slow, a little fast. We've got some bumps in that street, and it can really sound rough if you bump it faster than you should. And I got home and I told my daughter, I said, I love this. I love being out here. I am so happy to be back in my car. This is my favorite place to be back in my car. Well, you can be back in your car all you want now. And I said, that is true. That is true. And thank you. You've helped me fix this. You have fixed it. Have you been driving your car all the time? It's been fun if you have. Thank you for coming. This is not a terrific story, not a big story, but it's a story, I think, to every one of us that have had to stop something, think about it, and then come back to it. And remember how wonderful it is to be able to move around in the outside of our world. Thank you. We'll have a new story soon.